Today, I'm gonna show you how to turn 15-inch sub into an 18-inch sub. All right. Now, the first thing you're gonna wanna do is take out all the old soft parts, meaning the cone, surround, spider, etc. Get all of that out of there, okay? All right. I like to cut through the back part of the surround first, and then the front part, like so. Always use a sharp blade too, makes it a whole lot easier. You get as much of that material out, like so. See? Out of there. Alright. Next, on bigger woofers such as 15s, 18, larger woofers, what I like to do is take the cone itself and fold it over on top of itself. That way you can get to the spider a whole lot easier. Just take it and fold it on top of itself. You don't need it anymore anyway, so take it and fold it. And be careful because some cones are very rigid and can hurt your hands and everything, but this is an old ZV3, so it's not really going to do too much. But see, now it's exposed to the spider. The spider landing right there. You can get to it. All right. Once you got it up to a point you like it, you can get to that spider and you can kind of cut it like so, spin and cut. Now, some subwoofers that have multiple spiders on it, so you might have to do a little bit more cutting. Some of them have single spiders, etc., so it'll be a little bit easier, but just take your time and get it all out. Get all the material out. Like so. All right. Now, once you got all the soft parts out, since we're doing a size change, we got to remove this basket and put the 18-inch basket on this motor. And to do that, we're going to remove these screws right here. Now, they could be sockets, they could be Phillips heads, they could be almost anything. I've seen all kinds over the years that people use to keep the basket attached to the motor. So go ahead and knock that out. All the screws out, the basket comes straight off. Now, with the basket removed, I like to go ahead and clean the gap out. Take some compressed air, sprayed air, whatever you want to do, just look off in there with a flashlight or something like that. That way you can make sure you didn't leave anything on the inside of that gap before you start putting a bigger basket on. So. We're going to reuse the spacer. All right. Now, once you get everything back down just the motor itself, got the basket from the donor sub, make sure you line everything up. Make sure the bolt patterns are the same, which they are. I already checked that. And bolt it down. And it's the same exact process as before, just in reverse order. Screw everything back down. And I'll reuse the same bolts. Line it up. It's always good to hand tighten them too first. Make sure you're in the threads pretty good. Just make sure you're in the threads pretty good. So you don't gotta go all the way down. Just lining up that basket with the spacer. That pollen's coming, boy. Kicking my butt. And just screw them down. And I like to make sure they go down a little bit. You don't have to do this. It's just a very heavy sub, heavy motor. So I always like to make sure I get it down, not uber tight, but tight enough that I don't think it's gonna go anywhere. It's like that. Yeah, I don't think that's gonna go anywhere. One or two. Make sure it's down. Alright. And that's all of them. And now it picks up with it. So basket's attached to the motor now. Now that you got the basket attached to the motor, go ahead and mask off the gap. That way nothing can fall off in there while you're cleaning up the basket. And I'm a little excessive when it comes to tape. You don't have to tape this much, just make sure the gap's covered, but I've always been in the mindset if I can cover it up and prevent it from happening, that's what I'm gonna do. So everybody has their own way. There's really no wrong way to mask a gap. As long as it's masks, you're good. So plus I like to be able to just peel it all up with all the shavings and stuff at one time. That way it's not as much cleanup afterwards. Again, you don't have to do this much, but I'm kind of extra when it comes to this kind of stuff, so. Alright, make sure it's all down, nice and good. One more little piece right there. Alright, so it's all down. Now, to clean this thing up, clean the basket up, meaning get all this extra grime and grit off of it, get this old spider pack out, clean it up some, make it look presentable. Also, go ahead and put some terminals on there, because I believe the customer wanted terminals, whereas he used to have, yeah, that. So get her done. All right. Now everybody's gonna have their own way of getting all this off. My method, generally, I take a dang on hammer and a flathead, and I chisel up the spider pack, and usually it all comes up in one piece. So that's my method. Again, everybody has their own method. This generally works for me though, so give it a shot. Break that old glue off and work your way down. All we're doing is breaking that old glue loose and getting under that spider pack. That's tight. There we go. Like so. See? Yeah. Usually a lot of it comes up in chunks like that. See? Most of it came up just then. Go that all way. And all I did was hammer and chiseled it out, and the whole thing came loose. So. Again, there's other methods, of course, but this is my method. This is what I've been doing for years, and this all works for me, so. There it goes. Now, most of that old spider pack's out of there now. There's some glue left. And we'll file all that down with the grinder, getting all this extra glue and stuff out of there. That way the new spider pack can fit down like it's supposed to. We'll grind all this down too to make sure that's cleaned up. Old glue here, very old glue. Alright, and with everything, all the old glue and everything removed, time to start grinding off the old stuff. Always too, safety first. Alright, let's do some grinding, y'all. Now, once you got the whole basket sanded down, where the spider land is gonna go, sanded down, you can go ahead and remove your masking tape. After you make sure there's no debris or anything left over. I've already sprayed it, checked it, made sure, and that says it's good to go. So go ahead and peel back the masking tape that you put down earlier. Then again, I always double check to make sure nothing fell in the gap. I don't see anything in there. I'm gonna check one more good time to make sure. Always good to check, because if not, you could definitely ruin your Recone. So mocks up nice. Now, after you've got the spider landing cleaned off, the surround landing cleaned off, make sure the motor's clear of debris. Next thing you want to do is actually shim your drop-in, meaning that you can shim it with a shim like so, or little pieces of cardboard. But make sure you shim it. Without a shim, it won't work. You'll sit there and have all kind of coil rub and everything along the sides. So make sure you shim it some kind of way, whether it be with pieces of cardboard, a plastic spacer. Just make sure you shim it, okay? All right. Next step. All right, now it's time to place in your Recone. First thing you want to do is get your glue. This is what I use, the thick kind. It holds a whole lot better, the thick kind. So when you got your drop-in and everything ready, it's always good to test fit it to see exactly where the spider's going to sit down at, and I'll show you real quick. You can see where the spider's going to sit, just like that. All right. So that's where I'm going to want to put my glue, right there. Right there. All right. Glue here as well. And now goes in the drop-in. And get it kind of lined up where you want it before you smash it into the glue. That's what I like to do. Right there. And that's where I want it, right there. Make sure your shims is nice and even. Make sure nothing shifted. I like to set everything flat. Alright, everything's where it's going to be. Alright, now time to clamp. Alright, after it's dried for a while, time to remove all your clamps, paper clips, clothespins, whatever you do to get it tied down, time to take them off. Now, check your surround to make sure you have glue and it's down all the way around. Anywhere that you don't have it down, it's not the end of the world. You can take some more CA glue, put it down, smash it in, put a clip on it, let it redry. Right here. Right here. Put some more glue there. It happens. Put a couple clamps on it. Right here, it's hard as a rock. So, like I said, sometimes it just doesn't dry quick as other times when you're pulling on it. And it's better to go ahead and get it now versus later. Obviously, you don't want to be running your subs and it comes apart. So, always better to go ahead and get it now.